It's that time again for crazy shop stories, and I know you guys really love these videos. I've got 7 of them that are insane. Let's get started. The first story I have, there was actually an enthusiast group that came through. I'm not going to mention any names or give too many details, but it was a group of guys that really liked a certain brand of car. They came through to tour the shop, which isn't the problem. It's not a big deal. I enjoy doing that. But they brought along some very strange people with them. As they're walking around the shop, one of them actually goes up to Danielson to talk to him. You know, he's talking car talk. And halfway through the conversation, he's standing right next to Danielson and literally farts on Danielson. Stops speaking mid-sentence, goes silent basically, and just walks away. He didn't finish the conversation. It was like, Danielson was like, what just happened? It's crazy, guys. Anyways, the group is still moving around, looking at different cars, talking, and a guy comes up to me and says, hey, I've got this old Porsche 928. Imagine that, a Porsche 928, it's not running. It's a part in boxes. I took it apart years ago. It's literally in every piece, down to every bolt, every piece, every part in some storage area that he has. He said, what I want you to do, Car Wizard, I'll send you the body and everything first. It's just an empty shell. And every month, I will send you a box of parts. And you will assemble those parts, put it back together. And the next month, I'll send you another box. He said, that's the only way I can afford to do this. I don't have the money up front to give it to you. 1 box a month, and piece by piece, we'll get this thing back together and get it back on the road. And I just looked at him and I said, you probably won't have all the parts. We'll be missing bolts. There'll be months go by that we're communicating back and forth that this is missing, that's missing, this got broken during shipping. There maybe you send the parts, I actually look at them and find out that they're actually not usable, they're worn out, bearings are shot. I said, this sounds like a really bad proposition. And I said, in fact, we don't do restorations here. I said, you really need to get all these parts together on a truck and take them out to the West Coast and have somebody restore it. It'll be basically a frame-off restoration, but the frame-off part is already done. I said, but very likely you're looking at least 20 to 30 grand, if not 50. He said, so you won't do the 1 box a month thing? I said, no, I don't. I said, I don't know any shop anywhere that even be 10% interested in this project. I said, I'm sorry, but no. Anyways, the rest of the tour went well. Everything was happy. They left and they were happy, but to this day, we still talk. Danielson jokes about the guy that farted on him. It's like, what? Who does that? It's like, I don't know. I don't know who does that, but apparently this guy did. The second one is actually, it's more crazy than it is funny. It's not really funny. It's actually kind of scary. It actually happened this week. Last week, a customer put their Dodge Ram on a shipping truck. I think they chose probably the cheapest they could find, which was the first mistake. It was supposed to be here Monday to have the dash removed and do all the flaps and actuators, which is common on the Dodge Rams. They break inside the HVAC case, and you guys have actually seen a video on that not too long ago. Magic Mike did one of those where we put metal doors in, new actuators, all the way from Arizona. That customer's still very happy with their work. But finally got a call on Monday. The customer said, the Dodge Ram is not going to be showing up today, possibly not at all this week, because the shipping company that picked it up, I can't get a hold of them. They're supposed to call me when they got to a certain point or whatever, let me know what's going on. I don't even know where my truck is at. I don't know if it's even going to make it there. It's like they've gone totally radio silent. There's no communication, no email, no text, no phone call, nothing. He said they should have been there by now. There should have been some calls. Hey, I made it into Kansas. I'll be there Monday, or I'm running behind or something, but it's just been absolute silence. And he's like, I'm actually worried that They put my truck on the back of their trailer and they took it. It's gone forever. It's like, oh my goodness. So Monday we had kind of a gap there because possibly this customer's truck is stolen. Now it may show up sometime this week and we'll say, oh good, I'm glad it didn't get stolen. But as of now, it appears that this customer has lost their truck forever. And you say, well, get the police involved. Where are you going to go? Where did they even drive? You don't even know where it's at. It's probably, it's possible that it's in Mexico. It's gone. Get chopped up at a chop shop and you won't find it. No cops are going to find it. No FBI is going to find it. That's obviously not a funny story, but it is a crazy story. That's some of the things I deal with at the shop. How many people have to put up with that? That's crazy. So maybe if you're going to ship your car somewhere on the vehicle, put one of those little iPhone AirTag deals where you can monitor where it's at. Or at least choose a reputable shipping company and not the cheapest. You guys know in the shop, the cheapest price is sometimes the worst idea, the bad idea in all the different choices you have. So on to the next crazy story. The next one's not funny either. It's more along the lines, it doesn't make any sense. It's really a waste of resources and time. Customer shipped us an F-150 all the way from New Jersey, New York, somewhere up there in the upper northeast part of the country. It had 2 pages worth of things that were to be done. It was tons of work. It was going to be thousands of dollars because there was so much work to do. We got the estimate together and it seemed like things were going to go okay, but there was a concern about an oil leak from the head gasket. Because head gaskets can blow and not necessarily blow as far as coolant getting into the oil. It could just leak oil out of the side of the head gasket and down the block. And it actually doesn't damage anything other than it leaks oil. We finally cleaned it up, checked it over, and found out the valve cover gaskets were leaking, not the head gasket. We could physically watch the oil coming out of the valve cover gasket and dripping down the block. We actually filmed it on my phone for proof and evidence and sent it to the customer, and the customer refused to accept it. He said, no, I talked to my buddy said the head gasket's blown. I'm just sure that's what it is. You need to quote me the head gaskets. I said, guy, if I pull your heads off of this 5.4 liter motor, it's going to be timing chains, guides, it's going to be thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and it's not leaking. So he's like, no, it's not the valve cover. And finally, it was back and forth for a couple of days. I finally told the guy, I said, I'm not replacing your head gaskets. There is nothing even leaking out of them. I have video evidence showing that it is the valve cover gasket. I'm not tearing your engine apart. He said, I tell you what, car wizard. He said, there's 2 pages worth of things I wanted you to do. He said, skip all of it, park my truck outside. I'll bring my truck back to New Jersey. It's like, okay, so we don't get to do anything? He said, nope. He said, I told you this head gasket's leaking oil and you just won't hear me, so we're done. So we didn't get to do anything. That vehicle went back, shipped. It probably cost him $1,500 to get it here and another $1,500 to get it back. $3,000 wasted for nothing. It's like, could we at least have skipped the whole oil leak thing and fixed the rest for you? No, skip it all. Kind of like the old saying, cutting off your nose to spite your face. It's like, okay, well, have your truck back. We didn't even charge him anything. It's like, get it out of here then. I'm done. You're done. I'm done. Goodbye. So the fourth one is actually this guy named Tyler. He has this YouTube channel. It is the dumbest automotive YouTube channel in all of YouTube. Wait a minute.
I've heard of him.
I actually enjoy doing business with him. Never mind. Forget that one. We're not going to go that way. It is a dumb automotive channel. You guys agree. It is the dumbest automotive channel in all of YouTube. Anyways, let's talk about the real story I had. But this story I'm going to tell you it can be funny. It's also disturbing. We had a younger guy, I don't know the age, he sounded like a younger guy, called Crazy D in the office. And he was making strange noises, almost like demonic sounds, like hissing and growling and yelling, various unintelligible things. You couldn't understand what he was saying. He kept calling. You could hang up, whatever, hang up. But he kept calling and calling and calling. I actually went through my phone provider and blocked that number, but this person used another number, and they kept doing that. And finally I said, well, I guess I'll take the call and I'll try to set this guy straight and say, look, you got to stop calling us. I don't know what you're trying to do here, but this is not funny. And through all the hissing and garble and whatever he was trying to say, some clear words did come out when I was on the phone with him. He said he's going to come down here, and all of us that work here, Crazy D, me, Danielson, everybody that works here, he was going to hang us from the rafters and put phallic devices in our back ends and in our mouths. And at that moment, I started to think it was kind of funny, and then I said, no, this stuff really does happen. You watch the news, there's some really weird stuff. People die. And it's like, I never thought this guy was serious until it was too late. I actually called the cops, and they got some other agencies involved and things, and they really never could trace him down. They never could figure it out. And they said, if he calls back, we'll dig a little deeper, but because he's out of state, there's not a whole lot we can do. And it ended up the guy never called back. I never heard from him again. But what turned into, hey, check this out, this guy's funny, this is ha 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 ha, and real quick, the tables turned real fast. It's like, okay, this isn't funny anymore. And what he just told us, what if he actually does try to kill us? So I better call the cops. That was insane, guys. That actually had us all on edge for the next few weeks. We were just watching everyone that comes in the door. Luckily, we have security cameras and everything could be recorded, but still, just part of dealing with the public, I guess. It's really, really strange. On to the next one. Oh, look, it's more Hoovy's garage cars, the dumbest automotive decisions made on the planet. But I'm glad he makes them. We get to work on them, and I enjoy working on all of his cars. I enjoy being his friend. He's a really, really good guy. But now on to the next one. It's actually baffling to me. It's not really a crazy story, but Crazy D in the office has actually had to field 4 or 5 calls, and I've had to talk them down to not do it. It's someone to ship their car from Hawaii to Kansas to have the car wizard work on their car. And I get that. They want someone honest to do a real good job, an honest job, and have it fixed once and for all. They get their car back and they just enjoy their car. But every time I would talk to them, it's like, you realize your car's going to have to be put onto a ship and shipped over to California, then put onto a transport. It could cost you $5,000, $4 to $5,000 to get it here, and $4 to $5,000 to get it back. You could be out $8 or $10,000 just shipping alone. And they're like, yeah, I get that. I'm fine with it. I'm like, no, there has to be someone local to do this work for you. And every time it's been simple stuff like a timing belt or brakes or different things. It's like, really, you should look around the Hawaiian Islands and find someone who can do this for you. There's got to be somebody there that can get you taken care of and get you good service. Maybe they're not the best, or maybe the prices are a little high. I would pay the higher prices rather than pay the shipping $8 or $10,000. I told him, I said, you know, I would be happy to work on your car, but I really think you should think this through. That's a lot of money. It's not like we're talking about a McLaren P1 or some old Bentley that's worth $1 million or something. These were like Toyotas and Fords and Chevys and stuff. Like, I don't know, I guess most shops probably don't have to put up with people shipping their cars from Hawaii. But I had to talk them all down, all 4 of them, and say, don't do it. Really, don't. So now we have another dumb automotive decision, but it's not Tyler's. This is the one you guys have seen where the customer wanted to salvage it. They said, send it to the junkyard. And I actually bought it for them, and we're getting it fixed up. And as insane as this looks, it's kind of insane like the story I'm about to tell you. We actually had a truck driver stop through, was a fan of the channel, and they were passing through, delivering their goods or whatever, and they asked could they get a tour of the shop. So Crazy D gave them a tour of the shop. They were walking around. Then he started getting some tools out, some of my other mechanics' tools, and it's like, hey, I can join in. I can help you guys out. I can actually help you get some work done today. I don't have anything else going on. And I said, no, 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 no. My insurance guy will not like you working in here. First of all, I don't even know who you are. I don't even know if you're going to do a quality job. You're not an employee here. You can't be working on my customers' cars. He understood that. He put the tools down. He was walking around. He went to talk to Michael, which is Magic Mike. You guys know Magic Mike. He actually tried to convince him to go take a break with him and go in his truck with him and leave. It's like, man, we could go cruising together. We could go have a good time. We can listen to some music. You could see the countryside, blah, blah, blah. Michael's like, bro, I'm at work. I have to work, and I got to go home tonight. I can't go in a truck with you somewhere. He's like, well, my truck's right out there. We can hang out. We can be buddies. Michael's like, no, bro. Let me tell you again, no. I'm not going anywhere with you. I didn't know this was happening. So after he got rejected by Michael, he went to Danielson and said the same thing. Hey, let's go hang out in my truck. We can hit the road. I could show you some really cool highways, some different things. And finally, Danielson came and got me. He's like, this guy's trying to take us and put it in his truck and leave. And I came out and I said, hey, buddy, I'm glad you stopped by. It's time for you to leave. He said, well, I'm not done. I said, yes, I guarantee you, you are done, or I'm going to call the cops. Oh, all right, yeah. He says, I don't want the cops. Yeah, I'm good. I'm going to get in my truck and leave. I said, okay. So he got in his truck and he left. But it took a while. He sat out there for a good 15 or 20 minutes. I don't know what he was doing, and I don't want to know what he was doing. Finally, the person left and never seen him again. But it just got me thinking, who does that? Walk into a random shop, no one even knows who you are, and you're going to work on the cars? And then you're going to take the mechanics on a cruise in your truck to God knows where, and they're supposed to be on the clock working for me. I don't know. It took me a few days to just kind of grasp it. It's like, I couldn't even think something up like that. Who does that? So that's insane. And another dumb automotive decision. I actually like this car. I would love to have it. It's a really cool car, but I'm not trying to buy any more cars right now. Me and Mrs. Wizard have other plans than cars right now. This is the last story, and at first, when it starts off, this seems like it's normal, but it gets crazy towards the end. Again, this is another F-150. I don't know why we have problems with F-150s, but an F-150 came in, it's like an 05, 06. I don't even remember why it was here. This was quite a bit ago, but one of the mechanics came and got me. He says, Car Wizard, I just want you to sit in the driver's seat. And I was like, what's wrong? Is the driver's seat broken? Or they're like, no, we don't want to sit in the car. And once you sit in there, you'll see why. So I hopped in and I looked around and I started seeing what they were talking about. Up in the roof was a rifle. I think it was an AR-15. I was like, okay, whatever, you know. So I started looking around, and beside both sides of the driver's seat were two pistols in holsters, kind of like mounts or something like that. Behind the seats was a shotgun. And when I opened the center console and looked in there, there were two more pistols in holsters inside of there. And that was odd enough. I was like, why so many guns? Is this guy like a drug runner or something? And again, I don't have a problem with guns. But here is the problem. It's a safety concern. Anyone who even collects guns will agree with me on this. I was in the military. I know a thing or two about weapons. I started looking at these, especially the AR-15. I started noticing every weapon that I saw in the vehicle had a clip loaded, fully loaded, with a round in the chamber, and the safety was off on every one of these weapons. I really didn't mess with them too much. I'd raise them up just a little bit to kind of take a look. The safeties were off. The AR-15 had a clip in it. I pulled the charging handle back a little bit and I saw there was a round in the chamber, and the safety was off on it as well. I got out of the vehicle, I called the customer, I said, at any given time, one of these could go off and put a bullet hole in one of my mechanics. I said, come and get your truck, take all these weapons out of the vehicle, then bring the vehicle back and we'll be happy to work on it. But we're going to fix your truck. I don't need all these weapons in here. They could be working, ratcheting underneath your car, and then pow, one of them goes off, and I have a dead mechanic. We hear all the horror stories of children playing around with guns or things happening like that. And if you're going to have guns, you should have safety. You should have all the safety mechanisms and everything in place. You know, like I said, I don't have a problem with guns, but why is all the safeties off, locked and loaded, round in the chamber? I mean, this guy is driving, and it's like as if they were ready to go right now. Start putting out bullets everywhere.
Zombie apocalypse.
Maybe that's what it was. I never got into the conversation with him why. I really didn't care why. I was just like, look, bro, I get what you're trying to do. Just get all the weapons out of the truck and bring the truck back. We'll be happy to fix it for you. I just don't need any of that going on. I don't need the liability. He said, I'll take my truck. I will not be coming back because that's how I operate. That's how I roll. I'm not taking the weapons out. And I said, then don't bring the truck back. He said, I will not. And he left. And to this day, I think about that. I was like, what was he so afraid of? I mean, like I said, guns is cool and everything, but why are we rolling with a round in the chamber and all these weapons with the safeties off? It's like, I don't know what he's afraid of, what was going on. I really don't care. I'm just glad that vehicle was gone. That felt very strange. It was like, is this guy ready to take people out right now? Or think about this guy in traffic, road rage and things. This guy's got a round ready just for you. I don't want to be involved with what he's got going on, though. So that was crazy. So that's it for the crazy stories. I know you guys enjoy to hear some of the wild stuff that happens here at Omega. And some of the things they're very, very wild, like you just heard. The reality is most days go by and nothing crazy happens. We have a good day and everything goes as planned. But these are accumulated over years. This didn't just happen in the last couple of months. This is accumulated over the years. There's many more stories I could keep going, but I'll save that for another video someday. Definitely wanted to share you guys some of the things we go through here at Omega. Some of them are funny, some of them are mundane, and some of them are actually scary. There's a few that I just told you that was actually frightening, very scary. So if you're curious what kind of tools we use to work on a lot of the vehicles I just showed you, check my Amazon affiliates link in the description below. We get a small cut and we really appreciate it. And make sure to hit the subscribe button because we have so many more cool videos to come. Thanks for watching.